Hello, this is Craig Brelsford with Red Chip Companies. Thank you for joining today's event with Can-Fite BioPharma, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange American under the ticker CANF. With us today, we have Pnina Fishman, who is Can-Fite's Executive Chairman and Chief Scientific Officer, and Can-Fite's CEO and CFO, Matti Farbstein. We will begin with a brief presentation in a moment, and afterward, Pnina and Matti will answer your questions. Users may ask a question at any time by using the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom window. Because we have a great many participants today, we will take questions in written form only. Before we begin, please allow me to read the Safe Harbor Statement. This call may contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. All statements pertaining to future financial and/or operating results, along with other statements about the future expectations, beliefs, goals, plans, or prospects expressed by management, constitute forward-looking statements. Any statements that are not historical fact should also be considered forward-looking statements. Of course, forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties. With that said, I now turn this webinar over to Can-Fite. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Craig. Pnina, can you move to the first slide?
No, I thought you will start, but I can do it. Yes, sure.
So we are developing safe drugs for the treatment of oncological and inflammatory diseases. We have advanced clinical stage pipeline with short regulatory approval pathway, both to the FDA and the EMA, successful out-licensing deals. We are dually traded at the New York and Tel Aviv stock exchanges, with around 10 million ADRs outstanding. Last financial, by the end of 2024, we had around $8 million in the bank. So the money that we have and the short-term milestone that we should get from our current partners should support the company for the next 16 to 18 months. Pnina?
Okay, so as part of you may already know, we have a very unique platform technology. We have a target, which is a specific cell surface receptor, the A3 adenosine receptor, where our drugs will bind to the target, which are the inflammatory or cancer cells. And you can see here that normal cells have very low or no, they are nude and do not bear the target. And this is the reason that when the drug will get into the body, it will bind only here and will not bind to the normal cells and will not harm them. After we have already dosed more, couple of thousands of patients, we know that this is a reason why our drugs are so safe. We have proven therapeutic effect from phase 2 and even phase 3 clinical studies, as I mentioned, an excellent safety profile. While looking at the pipeline, so we have the Piclidenoson drug, which is our anti-inflammatory drug, and we currently use to treat psoriasis patients. We are conducting a pivotal phase 3 clinical study. The second indication with this drug is a rare genetic disease, Lowe syndrome. Actually, we have not the ones who came up with this indication. It came from a Naples University in Italy, and they used our research drug and found that they can cure preclinical experimental models of Lowe syndrome, as I mentioned, a rare genetic disease which actually affect the kidney and the brain with Piclidenoson, and we are doing now all the preparatory work for a phase 2 clinical study. Last but not least, we decided that since the drug has a robust anti-inflammatory effect, we can out-license it also for the treatments of dog osteoarthritis. And in the frame of the presentation, you will see this as well. The second drug candidate is Namodenoson. This is our oncological drug, where today we are developing it towards advanced liver cancer. We have an ongoing pivotal phase III clinical study in patients who suffer from this disease, and we also treat patients with pancreatic carcinoma in the frame of a phase IIa clinical study. And then we have the CF602, which is still in early development stages for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. These are our corporate partnership. We have already signed 7 of them to a company which is based in Central Europe, to actually 2 companies, and 1 for Eastern Europe, 1 for Central Europe, not all the countries, only 3 countries. We have licensed it for China, also for Korea, for Cypher Pharmaceuticals in Canada, and for Vetbiolix, who is the company who licensed the pets, the utilization of pets for osteoarthritis. In the frame of these studies, we got an upfront money of $20 million, and more $130 million will come down the road. So let's go over the drugs in our pipeline in a very concise way. So you can see here the molecule of Piclidenoson, which is a small molecule drug. This is a chemical profile of the drug. The interesting thing and the take-home message is that the drug can be taken orally, twice daily. And as I mentioned, we are developing it currently for moderate to severe psoriasis. So why this drug can be positioned for the treatment of psoriasis? So first of all, the target itself, the A3 adenosine receptor, is overexpressed on the cell surface of the skin cells. And also our drug can push the inhibition of 2 very important cytokines, interleukin-17 and interleukin-23, which are by themselves antibodies to these cytokines, are positioned today as biological drugs to treat psoriasis. So since our small molecule drug, Piclidenoson, can do a very similar job, we think that we can position it very nicely in the world of biological drug with all the adverse event and severe adverse event that we see. So you can realize that this drug has a robust anti-psoriasis effect. We have here all the molecular mechanism of action that I will not get into it right now, but this was a rationale to take this drug into this indication. And you can see here a glimpse of the data that we got in the first phase III study. Basically, we hit both the primary endpoint, which was PASI 75, and also the secondary endpoint, which was PGA 2. And in this study, we also had a comparator. So this actually opened for us the door for the current phase III clinical study. In a minute, I will get into it. Just before it, I would like to show you that the drug can be active also topically. And here in a preclinical model, we see how Piclidenoson very nicely cleaned the skin of the animals that were infected with psoriasis. So where are we today? Today we are very shortly, we are going to start initiating the phase III clinical study, enrolling patients in agreement with both the FDA and the EMA on the study protocol. We will treat patients with 3 mg, a twice daily drug. It's a tablet, so it's very convenient for the patients to take it. And the primary objectives of this study will be the 2 primary and secondary that I presented you before with. It's PASI 75 and PGA 2. And we, of course, will look at the safety of the drug in the patients. So I would like also to share with you very shortly some data regarding the veterinary effect of Piclidenoson in pets who suffer from osteoarthritis. So you can see here in a very robust and statistically significant way the effect of our drug Piclidenoson. In this specific study, we used, not we, but the partner used dose, and this is a very good basis for the partner to keep developing this drug, and hopefully it will be registered quite shortly for treatment of pets, and this will bring Can-Fite a very good and non-dilutive income. Regarding Namodenoson, which is our oncology drug, so the chemical formula is very similar but different from Piclidenoson, and this drug also is a small molecule drug which can be taken orally twice daily by the patients. So the first indication is advanced liver cancer, and of course the rationale is a robust anti-cancer effect that we have found in preclinical studies. Again, I will not get into the molecular mechanism of action, but it is very well defined. It's extensively published by Can-Fite and by others. And I would like to give you here an example of a patient which responded in a fantastic way in the frame of the Phase II clinical study. You can see here with the round red circle the lesion that this patient had in the liver, and you can see that along the study period, the lesion now is much smaller and it just disappeared. Not only the liver lesion, but also all the metastasis has been disappeared. This is a patient which is treated more than 8 years on our drug, and now it's under compassionate use, but before it was under the Phase II clinical study. So this brings us to the current study that we are enrolling patients. Just before is to give you the regulatory status of this drug. It's an orphan drug. We got an Orphan Drug Designation both by the FDA and by the EMA, a fast track by the FDA, and we are heading towards an interim analysis. And if the drug will become with positive data, we will be able to have a conditional approval and to start marketing the drug after 50% of the patients will be enrolled. Last but not least, we have the pancreatic cancer that we are treating in the frame of our oncological indications. And the rationale, again, is a very robust anti-cancer effect. 90% of the pancreatic cells have been just destroyed upon treatment with our drug. We have the molecular mechanism of action. We induce apoptosis, meaning programmed cell death of the pancreatic cancer cells, and this study is an ongoing study. This is basically the description of the study. It's an open label, oral dose Namodenoson 25 mg twice daily, primary endpoint safety, and secondary endpoint is objective response, progression-free survival, duration of response, so on and so forth. So beside the oncological indications, we have also an indication with the MASH, which is a disease where fat accumulates in the liver, not on an alcoholic basis. And based on the very good protective effect that our drug has in the liver, we decided to go ahead and to test this drug in patients through Phase IIa, which was very successful. And then we decided to move to Phase IIb. In distinction from the Phase IIa, the Phase IIb include also biopsies from the patients, and we hope that the data will be reproducible and that this data will be able to take us and to open the door for a phase III clinical study in this very interesting indication where only one drug is registered on the market. This is CF602. As I told you, it's a very early drug, and we saw that in the frame of the clinical studies that our drug improve erectile dysfunction, and we decided to take the third molecule and to develop it into this indication. Moti, would you like to summarize?
Thank you, Pnina. So we have oral drugs with proven safety and efficacy in pivotal phase III studies. Piclidenoson and Namodenoson are phase III assets in psoriasis and liver cancer. We were able to monetize the advanced portfolio through corporate partnerships. We already received more than $20 million till today, and there are potentially up to $130 million from these deals. We have a novel therapeutic approach, as Pnina describes, broad intellectual property portfolio, and we have enough cash in the bank and short milestone from the partners to support the company for the next 16 to 18 months. Thank you. So if there are questions, Craig?
And are we ready for questions?
In writing.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for that presentation, Pnina and Moti. To reach the team here at Can-Fite, please type in your question using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window. You'll see it there, Q&A in the middle of your screen. And then once your question is in, I will read it aloud and the Can-Fite team will answer. And we've already had some questions submitted. Number one, your Namodenoson drug shows potential to stabilize advanced liver cirrhosis, as we were talking, offering new hope amid limited treatment options. Is there anything else you can tell us now that you did not say during the presentation?
Actually, yes. We are treating under compassionate use patients with decompensated liver cirrhosis. And we came up with a PR reporting that we have a patient which responded in a fantastic way. And we shared it, and we hope that we will have more patients responding this way. And this is part of the story that this drug, on one hand, induced the anti-cancer effect, and on the other hand, has a protective effect towards the liver. And this is a reason that it enables us to treat also patients with MASH.
Thank you. What is the timeline for your phase III trials to end?
So the liver cancer, the pivotal phase III study, we should have the data of the interim analysis during the second half of 2026. And as Pnina mentioned, if it will be positive, we might get immediately a conditional approval from the agencies. With the psoriasis, we are in the submission. We are doing the submission as we are speaking now, and we will share the details about the study shortly with the public.
Andy, as a follow-up, when do you project to get results from your phase III trials?
Basically, it's the same question, the liver cancer interim analysis by the second half of 2026.
The Namodenoson oral drug is also well positioned in the field of anti-obesity, owing to its activity and favorable safety profile. The U.S. Patent Office granted a patent for use as an anti-obesity drug. Could you please give us some details?
Yes, we can share with you some details. The most robust evidence that we have is from our former phase II clinical, phase IIa, in patients with MASH, where we saw that patients lost weight. And now in the current ongoing study, the former study was only for 3 months, and we have already saw it. In the current study, which will take 8 months, we also hope to see the very same data. We have lots of data from preclinical studies and also mechanism of action, and we hope very much that we will be able to show it in the ongoing clinical study that we are now conducting.
Your veterinary partner, VetBiolix, reported positive final results from the clinical study of Piclidenoson in dog patients with osteoarthritis. What can you tell us about this achievement?
A very good question. Actually, we haven't yet tried it in human beings, and when we look a couple of years from now, we would like, or less, we would like to include it in the basket on the indications, because we knew from preclinical studies, again, I'm saying it, that the drug has a fantastic effect in osteoarthritis, and this was the basis to out-license it to VetBiolix, and we were very happy when VetBiolix repeated our data. And yes, it's a good question, and we are also thinking about it, transferring it into humans.
Thank you very much. We have a submitted question about how to reach the company. Easy. CANF@redchip.com. The ticker symbol CANF@redchip.com. We will forward any and all information, questions, etc., sent to that address to the Can-Fite team. Can you tell us about the projected income over the next 10 years after VetBiolix exercised its option and licensed Piclidenoson for veterinary osteoarthritis?
Yes, the projected income for the next 10 years, it's around $325 million, assuming or taking into consideration that we will take 6% of the market in 2030, that should be $6.3 billion.
The FDA granted your pancreatic cancer drug with an orphan designation. What is the next step now for this trial, now that you have this designation?
Marty, please.
Dana, please.
Okay. Actually, Fast Track designation helps us a lot with the FDA, because we have like priority that they will look at the data in a very fast way and more. So we are very happy that we got this designation, and we have already embarked on it when we had to get the approval for the current pivotal Phase III study, and hopefully we will use it when we will have the interim analysis data.
How many patients are currently enrolled in your pancreatic cancer Phase IIb study?
It's not a public information, and probably we will share it with our 20F shortly. It's a small study with an open one with 20 patients, and I can tell you, Craig, that we have no problems to enroll patients to the study.
Will you be presenting at any upcoming biotechnology or scientific conferences?
Yes, we will in a couple of them. Every year, we participate at least in 1-2 big meetings like the ASCO. And now we are going to participate in the GI ASCO meeting, and then in the next coming EASL, which relates to the liver. So we are very active regarding participation in conferences, publications, scientific publications, and of course, interactions with the medical community.
To reach the team, click the Q&A button, type in your question. We will read it aloud, and Can-Fite will answer. We have one question here so far. What are some potential catalysts for your various trials that investors could be looking forward to in the coming months in 2025?
We will initiate the pivotal study for the psoriasis, going to be shortly. We will release some data about the enrollment of the studies. There will be no data readout till the end of 25, but a lot of readouts during 26.
Thank you very much, Moti and Pnina. We will wrap up now, but let's conclude with a few remarks here. For more information on Can-Fite, you can reach us again at canf@redchip.com. You may also call us in the United States at 1-800-RED-CHIP. Please visit also the information page created by RedChip for Can-Fite. It's canfinfo.com. There you can view and download the investor presentation seen today and fact sheet for Can-Fite and sign up for news alerts on Can-Fite. RedChip is excited to announce the launch of RedChat, our advanced AI assistant designed to empower investors with instant, in-depth insights on 4,000 small cap and microcap stocks, including, of course, Can-Fite. Try it now on canfinfo.com or go to red.chat. Watch Small Stocks, Big Money, RedChip's program featuring exciting small cap companies every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bloomberg USA. And finally, join RedChip's next webinar with Green Power Motor Company tomorrow at 4:15 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Register for all RedChip webinars at redchip.com/events, where you can also view an archived version of today's webinar. Thanks again to our participants today, and thank you, Pnina and Moti.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Craig.